Well, today is, doesn't really matter what today is because we are done in the studio. So we finished up, I guess, last Monday, or was it this Monday?
This Monday.
This Monday. Jeez, okay. So we have been here down in this basement on and off for almost 8 months at this point. We started recording back in December of 2020, and here we are. We finished our last bit of tracking on August 2nd. So it's definitely been a long time coming, but well worth it. At this point, we've already got a few mixes back, and is anybody as surprised as I was at how well all those mixes turned out?
Yeah, right.
I can't stop listening to it, honestly.
I don't listen to anything else. Someone will really wear those songs out.
I've had to force myself to listen to other stuff.
I do too.
Like, I think, you know, one of the most surprising things for me throughout this whole ordeal has been how tight we managed to keep things. Yeah. Like, I don't think we had to re-record. I don't think we had to re-record anything except for your monster tracks, just because they were the very first tracks we laid down, and
they were sloppy. Yeah.
They were, but it also had to do with, you know, the metronome intervals. We increased it to like 8th note intervals, I think, and that fixed the problem. Beyond that, what?
I told him not to drink before.
I think the biggest thing for me is just hearing, I mean, now that we're getting mixes back, it's even better, but just hearing the changes that we made from the demos that we had forever with scratch vocals and stuff like that, to even the stuff we added or changed in the studio. Like probably my favorite thing is finally getting to hear both you guys play, you know, because we had programmed drums and programmed bass, and like that's not indicative of either of your talents, really.
It's made a huge difference, though.
Yeah, well, it feels like it's even more us because you guys have had your parts, and like that's been a big thing for me always, is having like a drummer write the drums and a bass player write the bass, and not like me or him writing drums or bass, you know?
Yeah, I don't think we really realized, because I mean, our demo, we were super proud of it and super, you know, willing to share it with everybody. So I mean, it's still a good song, but now that it's all of us, that we're actually listening to it, there's a lot of things that are popping out that even, like, I wrote those bass parts, you know what I mean? But whenever I hear it all together and like the crispness of everything and how tight everything is, I'm like, oh yeah, that part actually did work out like that. That's exactly what I wanted it to do. And you know, now that I get to hear it on the other side, there's a whole new element to what we all started out with these songs.
I agree.
I think that the craziest thing for me is just hearing the mixes back and knowing that we recorded all that.
Yeah.
Like, I've never had the opportunity to hear unmixed raw tracks, at least for, you know, our kind of hard rock. And it, like, just knowing that our tracks were good enough to get the level of production out of the mix that we got just blows my mind, because like I sent you guys all those, you know, studio roughs that still, it wasn't Randy, neither one of you guys were on it. It was just guitars and vocals because we hadn't tracked with you guys yet. But just hearing those tracks versus what Evan sent us is mind-boggling.
Yeah, but you know, I think the biggest thing for me, and I've told people this already, and I think I told you guys, is like the first moment that we all listen to Mirror in Randy's car and it's raining outside, and I listened to it, we got through it, and like a part of me was let down, because in my head we didn't sound like anybody, right? And I'm like, who do we sound like? Because ever since I've started music, I've always compared myself to other bands and stuff, and then about 3 seconds after that, it's like, we sound like us. Yeah. And it's cool to have, I don't know if I'd call it a signature sound. This is our first album, but like it, you know, and I get, it's unique, and we get feedback. Oh, this sounds like Tesseract, or this sounds like Seven Dust, or this sounds like whoever, and I take all those as compliments, because if somebody is willing to equate you to a band that they like, then I feel like you've done a good job. But at the same time, it's us. And that's been really cool to me, is seeing those things happen.
This is the first time I've ever had the reaction of, I can't believe this is us.
Yeah.
You know, first couple albums, you know, first one I mixed, second one somebody else mixed, and then this one, you know, we have Evan from Cage 9 mixing it for us, and this is the first time that I'm like, I can't believe that this is actually us and this is actually happening. So it's mind-blowing to me. And the fact that, you know, I can listen to those songs, you know, put them in a playlist with other songs that have been professionally recorded, mixed, and mastered, and our songs just sit in with the rest of them.
Yeah.
You know, not necessarily that, you know, they don't stick out above the noise, but, you know, in a playlist, you don't want people to have to go, oh crap, well here comes LABOR 12, gotta turn that down.
Yeah, I was about to say, you don't have to mess with the volume anymore.
Right. So the fact that on a sonic level and a production quality level, it sits in with the big guys. Like I'll listen to it next to, you know, Static X or Tremonti or Seven Dust, and I'm like, this, I feel like that the music belongs in that ball game. I'm my worst critic. So for me to feel that good about it, that seems pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
What was your favorite part of the studio?
My favorite part?
Or I guess your favorite moment, I guess.
Oh, man, I think my favorite moment, there were a lot of really heavy moments, but I think my favorite moment was when Randy finished drums on Mirror Mirror in one take. And, you know, we started recording the day we found out that somebody we know had taken their own life. And the fact that song, you know, comes from, you know, just several people who've been close to us that have really impacted us, whether they battled with thoughts of suicide or a couple of people who we've lost to it. You know, Randy laying down the drums and just like the raw emotion that came through on those drums in a singular take was by far, I think, the best moment for me. And it was, I was just sitting in the control room listening.
What about you, Jacob?
Second to this moment, because I think this is my favorite moment now. It was a really long process, and it was a hard process. I mean, just working around everybody's schedules, and then it's just.
And you guys were here every day.
Yeah.
Of the whole thing. Like me and Tanner weren't here for half of it because we were working or whatever, and you guys were in this room the whole freaking time.
Yeah. I think that, man, I don't know. I don't even know if I have a top moment. I've probably got like 15. I would say probably in that list very shortly is the acoustic tones we got on The Last Goodbye. Like hearing those, I was like, whoa, it's like real. It sounds real. Working on Everglade in general with everybody, it's just, it's a really important song to me. So probably that, and then my last one I would say is getting that last solo on Mirror written, because it didn't happen until we were in the studio. It was a hard day.
Like, we had to stop and go for a walk.
Yeah, we had to take some breaks, but finally getting it done, because I just butchered it live for shows and shows and shows. Never had anything that I was like committed to playing, and so I would say probably getting that nailed down. I would say those are like my favorite, like my real favorite moments, like, oh, finally. And then just there's not really specific moments after that. It's just like we got the creative moments that we had in the studio too. Like, you know, you're writing like a bass part and you're like, oh, hey, let me try this, or you doing the same, or like, hey, let's try this vocal or let's try this harmony, because I mean, I drove around for months listening to the studio roughs and just like, okay, does this harmony work, or singing with it and seeing what fit and what didn't, and seeing those come to life, and then now hearing what Evan's doing with it, it's like so dope.
I think like like a couple of really cool surprises, aside from just hearing some of Tanner's stuff the first time, you know, just only having to listen to the bass. Like, dude, you I think Brother may be some of my favorite bass stuff you've done on this. But
I love that song. I've been telling y'all for months. I'm like, I love that song.
I love it. And the more we worked on it, the more I loved it. But the little diddly runs in Brother was really cool. That was a really cool moment.
I almost forgot about that. I watched that video the other day and I was like, oh yeah, that happened.
And then, you know, just the vocal ideas that, like, it was like when the floodgates opened, we just had to keep pushing until, at least for me, I had no more to give at the end of the day on some of these songs, and Phoenix is one of those, because just all the harmonies that were never originally a part of it, a lot of, like, there were multiple descants in the last chorus that you guys are gonna hear eventually. But I mean, just like everything on that song, on all these songs, it just all came together, and I feel like we all poured absolutely everything we had into these songs, and we put everything on the table. We held nothing back, except on times when we were like, we might rein that back a little bit, but it was to maximize everything about these songs. So this is the first time in my life I feel like I don't know if there's anything more that I could have done on this album.
I don't think I agree with that. I don't think I don't think we could have done any more to it. I feel like we hit the threshold and we did it right, where we got up to the end and we did the best we could without overdoing.
And without underdoing.
I think we really I think we nailed it.
Yeah, one of the things I was really scared about with this is getting so far in and then just being like, screw it, just get it done, let's do it, let's move on. You know, there were some days that it was like, we just got to get this down, but I don't feel like we ever settled for anything that was subpar.
Yeah, no settling. And there were days I really wanted to settle.
Oh man.
Like, it's okay, fine. I mean, somebody else can fix this, but I'm glad we fixed it.
Well, and that's the way I felt on Head Rush too. I mean, we could have gotten all of this done a day early, but man, I didn't want to settle on just what I already knew how to play with Head Rush.
Yeah, right. It wasn't
worth it. And all it really took was just a weekend and one extra day, and then now we're all, just that extra little effort that was put into this album, and now what I hope we're going to do for our live shows.
Yeah,
that's what makes the difference. That's what has really made the difference in this album, is that going the extra mile on every little thing that we do. I mean, just like the good mojo from the Hulk hands, getting the thick thundertones from the Hulk hands, recording Monster without a shirt on.
Yeah.
I still fully believe that I should have recorded Phoenix completely naked.
Nobody else wanted that. Alone in those beliefs.
I would have worn a sock. I don't know. There's a lot of people that have reached out to me and said, "Hey, I want that."
Baby socks are.
That's a good one.
On that.
What was your favorite?
Yeah, what are your favorite moments?
Man, there was a lot of great moments. Like, whenever we first started going through this, and like the first couple of days when I would come up here and just listen to the first raw guitar tracks. I felt like a kid in a candy store, man. I was like, what are y'all doing?
The first time you put on those headphones, it was like, dude, listen to this tone. You're like, I could tell you were prepared for disappointment. Because like you don't want to be so excited that you are disappointed, but he was so ready for disappointment, and like. In Jacob's own words, his eyes were as big as sausages.
Yeah.
or saucers.
Those moments are definitely some of my favorite. But my favorite was tracking Wasteland with the strobe light. I have never nailed that song all the way through, like ever.
Have any of us?
No.
Ever?
No, dude, that song, I'm so sorry. Can I just make a formal apology? Because I feel like that song beat up everybody. Maybe not Randy, but any of us string players. Like it beat me up too. Like it was hard.
It's the only song that I play with a pick. I mean, it's the only reason I can even claim that I play with a pick. Like, because every metal bass player plays with a pick, but I'm really, really adamant about finger picking and thumbing. But that song, I threw my pick across the room whenever I did it.
So I know that was a perfect take, but there's something we may want to look at changing. You know, crap, we got to go look for his pick. So we spent a good 15 minutes looking at that stupid pick. Oh, man. So what about you, Randy?
Being done. Like, whenever I got done with my stuff, like, it's just like the amount of weight that was lifted off of my shoulders, because I was so anxious about the entire thing. Like, I've never recorded anything like that under so much, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but like scrutiny. I mean, having to nail every single part perfectly, not hitting the rims, you know, all that stuff. You making sure you hit the
not
cymbals
dropping
correctly.
sticks right in the middle of the song.
And to be completely honest, I don't remember a lot of the process. Because I was just, I don't know if it was because I was so focused on whatever song it was that day. I'm at the point now where I don't remember what I played.
I feel
It's his wedding day.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's very much like a wedding day, because you know anybody that's been married, it's like, holy crap, it's over, but how?
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know what happened.
I totally get that feeling, man, because the second to last day that we recorded, you and I knocked out. I mean,
Y'all did a lot of work.
A lot of work.
Yeah.
And we did like 6 hours worth of recording sessions, and like by the time we were done and we had to do our little interview for the end of it and everything, I was like,
forgot what you did.
we recorded.
We had to go through and make a list.
We didn't do head rush. Yeah, I couldn't. Yeah, we had to make a list because it's
And
just
now-
you get
now
focused
I'm
on
like-
what it is that you're doing.
I'm at the point now where I'm like, okay, Evan, I need it back so I can figure out what I did.
I need this before our next show.
Because
for
I
sure.
don't want to play our show, the next show, wrong. You know, so it's like,
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about. So your interview that you did the day that you recorded Everglade, I wasn't here. Or
You weren't present during
I wasn't present during the interview, so seeing it, like when I was, doing the audio for it, was the first time I saw it. Yeah, man, like there's
that was tough.
there has literally been blood, sweat, and tears poured into this album. And I know it's very much a cliche, but
Lots of tears.
Oh man, some of the studio days were so hard, because I know for me and Jacob, we dug as deep as we could to surface every emotion that had affected us. Maybe not everybody on all of the songs, but almost all of these songs are from experiences that I've gone through that I think are very relatable to everybody else. But just digging up all of that old
Trash.
all that old garbage and just putting it out, putting it where I could see it, to if it was something that made me angry, letting that anger through on the song. If it was something that's soul crushing, when we did The Last Goodbye, I found a picture of our grandmother and put it on my iPad where I could see it, because it was one of those, I guess maybe an insurance policy, that I wouldn't get complacent when trying to perform these songs for the album. And that's one of the things that you play and play and play and play and play these songs, and then when it's time to get in the studio, it almost goes robotic. You just go, you go through the motions. You play it technically as best as you can, but I don't know.
There's no feeling in it.
Sometimes there isn't.
is.
But all that to say, like, I can't speak for anybody else, but I know that we did everything we could to make this as emotionally difficult as it needed to be, so that we would perform I'm not going to look back on this album and go, man, I really just wasn't paying attention that day. I just got through it.
Throw Randy right under the bus there. No, I think
I agree with that, and I think one of the big things is when you do a studio sessions, do so many studio sessions like this, it's easy to forget your intentions. And it's easy to forget the meaning behind what you're doing. And so pulling up photos or taking an experience that's just happened to you and taking it into the studio, or something that, we lost a friend in that day when we found out, we scrubbed everything else and said, we're starting vocals on Mirror.
I called Jacob when I was done. I was like, listen, I know what we've got planned today, but here's what happened.
Yeah.
I want to start on Mirror. And he was like,
Let's do it.
I could hear the hesitation, but it was that's going to be a big undertaking just to pivot like that. But it was so worth it. On the record, I'd say thank you to every one of you guys, because y'all placed a lot of trust in me. I know Tanner's done studio stuff before. I've done studio stuff before. But I don't think any of us have done it to this level. Jacob, you've only just recorded, by yourself.
For my computer and my underwear.
And so it's not a bad thing. I mean, you pulled.
Keep it up, dude. You come up with great songs.
A lot of. It really has prepared you for this, but there were a lot of things that, I feel like one of my jobs, being the engineer and a producer on the album, was to say, okay, I like what you did there, but let's try this. And I don't think there was a single time, and we may not have tracked it, but everybody at least tried what it was. And that takes a lot of faith to. And I don't know if there was anything that anybody wasn't sold on. I don't know how that's going to be, but in the end, I feel like every decision just elevated. And now that they're getting mixed, I don't know what's better than great, but it's
that's what it is.
Yeah.
You'll hear it.
Yeah, eventually. It's actually fun. I did this the other night. I actually went through and watched 25 or 30 of those tracking days that had just been out for a long time. I haven't watched them in forever, and it's like, oh my gosh, even between now and when we started, I'm watching the very beginning of it. I'm like, oh, you have no idea what
you idiots! You have no idea what you're doing. It's like you're a baby, you don't even have any experience.
You know how when the presidents, they get older for 4 years. I wonder if it's like the beginning, we're all like children. And then by the end of the process, we're like,
I really feel like it is, because I don't know. I don't know what I expected, but it's almost like, hey, we're going into the studio. It's time to go into this little bubble. And that wasn't it at all. I feel like life just kept hitting hard.
Yeah, life keeps happening.
And it was like every hard thing that happened went into this album. I feel like everybody harnessed all the positive energy, all the negative energy, like every shred of energy we had, we focused as hard as we could on knocking this thing out of the park. And I can't believe it's like that this chapter of the Monsters album is over. I can't believe it.
I can't either.
I'm ready to start playing it.
I am too.
We've been playing it in shows, but if now that we have this back, I feel like, that was back when we were a garage band. Dude.
I know. Right? We get to go back to being a garage band. I'm ready. I think probably my biggest thing is I'm ready to have mixes back so we can redesign our show.
Yeah.
Just to see what goes best where.
And we have to relearn every single song, which is like it's almost like, oh man, but I think it's refreshing, because for a while, at least until the new wears off, we're getting to do something
different,
new.
Yeah,
do something different.
Yeah, that's definitely. I don't think I've ever really burned out, but there were days that were really tough, and it's like I just want to be done, and I enjoyed the process thoroughly, but it's just like, okay, I'm done enjoying the process. Can we do this? But I'm excited to start learning it, because I think like even how the songs, the arrangements are being done, and for the little micro bit of rearranging that's happening in them, is just gonna bring that show dynamic up even more. But then I have to figure out how to buy lights and fog and all that stuff so it all goes together.
On to the next venture.
Yeah, right.
The lighting show.
Yeah.
Oh man.
We're still funding the album. We still got a ways to go. Every dollar really counts. It's been crazy, the people that have shown up.
And thank you everyone that has so far.
This wouldn't have been possible without all the crowdfunding and everybody believing in what we have going on. So
It would have taken a lot longer for sure.
Yeah.
There's a lot in my streaming community that have helped us out, and we are so thankful for you guys.
Yeah.
personal friends and people we don't even know.
Yeah,
you know,
we've had some just randoms show up, and so that being said, we still have a ways to go, and if you want to help back the album, you can head to labor12.com/crowdfunding. You know, I think we're getting relatively close to having the mixing paid for at this point, and then we've still got album pressing to do, some of the marketing stuff that's going to come with the album dropping we've got to do. So there's still some pieces to this process, but we're getting closer and closer every day. So you can back for as low as $5. You get all the singles off the album. They'll be emailed to you.
We have a tip jar on the website. So
Yes,
if you want
we
to
do.
if you want to do less than that, that's fine. Once the singles come out, those will be available for purchase. So
Yep.
if a single gets bought, it's going into paying for this stuff.
Yep.
And once the album's paid for, it's going into merch. Like we're reinvesting every dollar into all this.
It's pretty awesome what we've been able to do so far.
I feel like it's like we're like this little know-nothing band from Lubbock, Texas, out of all places, and even listening to our stuff now, and everybody else,
You guys are from Lubbock?
yeah, that's all the time.
And it wouldn't be possible without the people funding it.
No,
I mean,
Everybody who's funded us and supported us has helped drive us, and that helps.
Yeah, because I don't want to disappoint.
Well, I don't want to disappoint, but it helps you get through the really, really hard days.
Right,
You're
and
like, I want to be done.
It's been an extra accountability factor too,
Yeah.
because it would have been there's so many times it would have been easy just to, like, I could have mixed the album, we could have saved that money. There's all these things that we could have done that I think would have sold it short.
Yeah.
And having
like me short.
Shorter.
Wow.
like it just knowing that we've got these expectations that we have to meet.
Yeah.
It's made all the difference, and I can't wait for everybody to hear it. This video should drop right before the Suffocate single comes out. Everybody stay tuned, because we've got a music video coming out for it. The song is done at this point, and if you like it, share it. Get people like it. We're still crowdfunding.
Yep.
The next thing is releasing Suffocate. It's our first single. Man, we went back and forth on what it was going to be, and landed on Suffocate as we had originally planned. It's coming out September 6th. September 6th is Labor Day. So it seemed like a huge missed opportunity if we didn't do that. So that's why we're releasing it on a holiday, because how cool is that? How many bands do you know that have a day of the year named after them?
Yeah.
So anyway, yep. Suffocate's coming out on September 6th, and with a music video. You guys think we should tease a little bit of it?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Why not?
All right, here we go. I think that's enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't want to give it all away.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So
anyways, we
anyways,
thank you guys. The snowball is almost at the bottom of the mountain, and it's picked up a lot of snow on the way. So I can't wait for it to run over all of you
About to
with the massive guitar, bass, and drum tones coming out of it. Huge thanks to Jared Carey for letting us record here. Huge thanks to Evan for helping us produce this.
Yeah.
Ken J with Static X has been a part. He's contributing some stuff. Want to shout out to Stephen Bailey and Dan Johnson, because this all started with them. They were there for a lot of the early writing stuff. So like every single person that's been involved, we're grateful to you all. Thank you to all of you who've backed the album. And
on that, I'd like to say thanks to DG Swiss, Man Cave Gaming, Beta XP, all you guys on Twitch. You guys are where it all started from, for helping us with the exposure and the crowdfunding and all that stuff. So, I mean, Medic, Avij, all you guys. I could be going for days.
You could.
Of how many supporters are out there. Daniel, Lucas, Tanner, all you guys. Travis, Deadly. Geez, there's so many.
Yeah.
Et cetera, et cetera. You guys know who you are, and much love to all of you.
so,
Hi, Mom.
With that said, if you came and backed this album or anything, or you want to know anything more about LABOR XII, we want to hear from you.
Yeah.
We don't want our fan base or anybody to feel like they're a part of us and we're not a part of you.
Big Daddy Dude. I can't forget him.
Yeah, Big
So
Daddy.
heads up, man. We'd love to hear from you.
so we've got some content coming your way. We got a lot of stuff coming at you. But as far as these little mini docs, I think we're signing off for the Monsters album. So until the next time, hope to see you guys at our next show.
Oh.